that at this point he is not interested in talking to us. He said that he had gone out on the Pony Express Trail. One spot that he talked about was Simpson Springs. It's a campground. We have gone out to that campground to try and verify what he has told us. Unfortunately, with the weather and fresh snow out there, we could not detect any signs of recent camping activity.
Do you have any idea what happened to her?
No. Thank you. And any help to try to find her would be appreciated. So we really, that's all. We just, I mean, she's somewhere.
I know there was quite a huge effort out in the West Desert looking for any sign of her. Is that where you were camping?
I just have to go get my boys. Thank you.
Now, I'm sorry, but in my own personal lie detector test, I think Susan Powell's husband, Josh, is lying. You should know that we have reached out to him repeatedly, but his attorney has ignored our phone calls, our many requests for comment. Right now, Craig and I are joined in Utah by Kiersey Hellewell. Is that how you say it, Kiersey?
Yes.
Kiersey Hellewell. She's in Salt Lake City. She's Susan Powell's best friend. Susan's dad, Chuck Cox, and Shelby Gifford, another friend who is serving as the family spokesperson, joined us from Seattle, Washington. Dad, if I could start with you, Chuck. First of all, thank you very much under difficult circumstances. I appreciate very much your coming out to talk to us tonight. What is your reaction when you see your son-in-law telling that story that really doesn't stand scrutiny?
I can't believe that daughter would allow children to go out at 3 at night on a camping trip.
Would she allow the children to be separated from her for long periods of time in such an aberrant way, such an unlikely way? Would she allow those kids to go out in sub-freezing weather in the middle of the night?
I don't think so.
So when you see Josh Powell on television giving that sobby act, but, you know, I assume it's an act. It's my, you know, when I look at him, I just want to shake him and say, tell us the truth. Where is Susan? What's your response, Chuck?
I'd like him to tell us what happened that night, what he knows. I understand he's under a lot of strain, but I would like to know what happened to my daughter. I need help in finding my daughter.
Shelby, you knew her. Would Susan have tolerated Josh taking those children out at night?
It doesn't make any sense to the family. We just can't fathom the idea that that would be something that would be all right with her. That's a big concern to the family.
Kiersey, best friend of Susan, you tell us what kind of mom she is. A responsible mom, would she have allowed that to happen?
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't have allowed that to happen at all.
Can you be more frank in your feelings when you see Josh on television telling that tall tale?
I believe that there's things that he's not telling. I find the story just as strange as everybody else does, and I really don't know what to think.
You don't know what to think? Can you tell us what you think? I think you have some pretty formulated ideas of what happened here.
I believe that somebody has taken her against her will. I don't know who could have done it or why anybody would want to do such a thing. And all I know is that Josh is still my friend and I still care about him, and I really hope that he will cooperate with the police fully.
Can you describe, he has not done that obviously, can you describe what their relationship was like, Kiersey?
They had problems like most marriages do, but recently they had both told me several times that things were very much better and they were a much happier family than they had been.
When they say that they've found or have seized Susan's diary, what do you think it says in there?
I really don't know anything about that situation.
Craig, how severe were his financial troubles?
Well, Geraldo, we did some investigating, at least for the 2007 bankruptcy, and it seems as though Josh wasn't making much money at all. 1 year, I believe the amount that he made in a full year was about $3,000. So this guy was hurting, you know, pretty much financially. It's like the finances of a church mouse.
The finance of a church mass. Now, you made a point, and it really came through loud and clear to me about the wet spot, Craig, in the couple's home and the fans that were on that wet spot. Give us the next couple of sentences about that.
Well, you know, Geraldo, that information is coming from a friend who accompanied the police to their home here on Sarah Circle. Susan was reported missing. The kids were no-show at daycare. Police came. They couldn't get into the house. No one answered the door. They had to break in. There was no sign of forced entry. Susan's purse and cell phone were on her bed, and they noticed 2 fans drying a spot in the living room, and that's according to this friend, Geraldo.
And
pretty suspicious to me.
Pretty suspicious. Dad, does that, Chuck, does that wet spot cause you nightmares when you think of the possibilities that it is involved in a violent crime?
I don't know what to think of it. I wasn't there. I don't know. There could be a simple explanation. It could be evidence. It might not be. I just don't know what to think about it, and I don't really want to think about too much of it.
When you saw your daughter with her husband, Josh, was there a time when your antenna stood up where you believed that maybe something was not right in paradise?
No, I can't say that. There were times that they had ups and downs, and that's the best way to describe it. But the most recent times and that I've seen them together, it seems like things were improving and things were a lot better for them.
Can you describe, we're seeing pictures of Susan. We've come to know her in the last couple of weeks since this happened, December 6th or 7th. Tell us what your daughter was like, Chuck.
What she is like.
What she is like, thank you. A super person, a devoted mother, and devoted to her family and making her marriage work, making the best things that she can do. She liked to help people. She was always involved in something. Just made friends everywhere she went. Had no trouble with in anybody she worked with or well, met. Just a very happy person, very positive, capable, not in any way submissive or meek, really. I mean, she would stand up for herself when she needed to.
Did Josh ever exhibit any violent tendencies, Chuck?
No, not that I can recall. Not any physical violence or anything like that. They would have disagreements, as husbands and wives tend to do, and I was very proud of my daughter, and that when they would have disagreements, she would stand her own, and they would come to some kind of a conclusion between there. Either one Josh would respect her opinion on a subject, or she would decide that maybe he had a better idea. It was just a very normal type of thing.
Craig, going back to that, I just want to, going back to that wet spot, his alibi of going camping after midnight, not remembering that he had to go to work the next day, thinking that he got confused between Saturday and Sunday, whatever it was. It seems to me that the alibi is so lame, it is so far-fetched, that he made it up in an almost spontaneous way. It wasn't something an intelligent person thinks through to come out with a cock and bull story that no one is going to believe. Is that spontaneity, that crime of passion aspect of this possibility being investigated?
Geraldo, the police are doing everything they can. They are doing forensic investigations. Both the state and local labs are examining everything they can inside, but they're not getting any cooperation from this man. They've had 5 separate search warrants, 3 for the house, 1 for the car, and 1 for his own DNA. He wouldn't give up that voluntarily. So, and when I asked the police whether or not Josh volunteered to help search for his missing wife, they said absolutely not. So it really makes you think that this man has something to hide. If not, why isn't he cooperating? Why isn't he helping? Why isn't he reaching out to the public to help him search for his missing wife?
Because he's responsible for her disappearance. I think that is the thesis. And Chuck, I pray for a miracle here, You know, I thank you very much for being with us. You know, Shelby, you too. Kiersey, you too. As we pray for our miracle, stay strong. Good luck, Chuck, with your grandchildren. We hope for the best, and I hope they have an eye on this this Joshua and make sure that he's around when they want him. Coming up, ladies and